Hey, what's up everyone? This is Minnesota Mike back with you for another video. This is another one in my vlog series that I do through the Memphis Songwriters Association in conjunction with the blog that I write for them, talking all about songwriting and what has worked for various artists over the course of a handful of years, whether those songs have been hits or not. So this latest kick that I'm on is called Unorthodox Song Structures, and this deals with songs that stray away from the simple verse, chorus, bridge, solo, chorus format, or any slight variation of those things. Maybe they have two verses in a row. But we're talking about things that kind of break the mold structurally, songs that do that. Thus far this week, we have looked at the song There She Goes by The Laws, and now we are going to look at Don't Stop Believin' by Journey. So lyrically, Don't Stop Believin' tells the tale of two people who had given up on life and were taking the midnight train going anywhere. It sets up the contrast between the two characters, a small town girl living in a lonely world and a city boy born and raised in South Detroit. Which, by the way, is not geographically correct. South Detroit is in Canada, but that's a whole different discussion. In one of our last blogs, actually our last blog, we talked about types of narrators, types of narration, and we discussed the omniscient narrator. The narrator in this song is omniscient, and it's unclear if he's just an observer or if he has some connection to the two main characters in the song. But in the third verse, he uses the word my when he says working hard to get my fill. Again, I choose to believe, no pun intended, that the narrator is in the same universe as the two others, but it could be a situation like Bob Dylan's Simple Twist of Fate, where there's a subtle mention of the narrator in first person, and the city boy in the song is actually the narrator. As I mentioned, structurally, as I mentioned to start off this blog and vlog kick, many songs use a verse, chorus, bridge, chorus format. Don't Stop Believin' makes us think that's going to be the structure, as it has three verses in a row, but instead the chorus gets thrown in at the end. So after the first verse you think like, oh hey, chorus is coming, but actually no. Then it goes into another verse and another verse after that. And the chorus, like I said, gets thrown in at the end with Don't Stop Believin'. Hold on to that feeling. It's a masterful payoff and works well because of the tension that's built up within the three verses in a row and the instrumental interludes between the second and third verse and the third verse and the chorus. The chorus, I should say, is sung twice. Not only does this structure help build tension, it also helps us to understand the desperation of the two main characters. So even though the chorus only shows up at the end, the first verse previews the desperation, and then he says, without actually saying it, let me show you what I mean, which could have been established by starting with the chorus, because the chorus gives more detail, but the way that the song like Payphone does, where it actually adds to, so it kind of has a second chorus, so it could have done something like that. But the payoff would not have worked at all if he had said, don't stop believin', and here's why. We need to root for these characters before you just insisted that we do after one chorus. And so when I think of this song structure, although I call it unorthodox, it's not entirely uncommon. It's also used in Dream On by Aerosmith, as well as Boston by Augustana, both of which have two verses rather than three before the chorus, the way that Don't Stop Believin' does. Melodically, this song is written in the key of E major, and it uses the chords E, B, C sharp minor, and A, which is a 1-4-6-4 pattern. This is a pretty classic 80s pattern of chords to use, by the way, so that's that, and more on that later. In between the first and the second verse, 4 bars in, the guitar comes in. Previously only piano and bass could be heard, and in addition to the aforementioned instruments, there are also drums. So Don't Stop Believin', I mentioned earlier that it's a very common 80s progression. It's featured in Axis of Awesomeness's 4-chord song, in which they roll through a handful of songs that use, or at least can be played, using that same pattern, the 1-5-6-4 pattern from Don't Stop Believin'. Steve Perry is a master songwriter, but whether it's his lyrics or his band's melodies, less is always more. The band knew that it didn't need to reinvent the wheel in the sky with the melodies, because the lyrics told a compelling story without being 1,000 words. Not that there's anything wrong with that, especially as a Bob Dylan fan. So I have embedded both Don't Stop Believin', or linked both Don't Stop Believin' and the 4-chord song below. You can take a listen, take a watch. It's quite something, and will just completely blow your mind and change the way that you think about music. So happy watching, happy listening, and most importantly, happy writing with a new way of looking at Don't Stop Believin' in your head. I'm Minnesota Mike. Make sure you check out all my other vlogs and then all my other blogs on the Memphis Songwriters Association website. Thank you so much.